Well, hey, what's up, everybody? Some of you may know me, some of you may not, but regardless, this is Mr. Sanders' twin, and I am here for the read aloud of, well, Planet Middle School. Change of plans. I thought we were gonna read The Smoking Mirror, but then got a little rug pull. The floor was swept from under my feet, and now we're reading Planet Middle School. So we're just going to roll with the changes and we're going to have a great time reading Planet Middle School together. Let's do it. Heart sick. The emergency room doors crack open, and I feel my heart split. The hospital smell leaves me dizzy. Or maybe it's just my fear. What if I got here too late? What if my friend's eyes never open? What if I missed the chance to say I'm sorry? Our fight seems silly now. But then, so do the last few months. I guess the joke is on me. Too bad I don't feel like laughing. All right, so we're going to answer the first question. Now, you might be thinking, Twin, we just got started. Like, why are we answering a question already? Well, I just want to see if you're into it and what you think about what's going on so far. Let's go ahead and do it. How does Joy, and we haven't established her first name yet, but that's her name. How does Joy, who's the speaker of the poem, feel and why? So for this, I'm asking you to make an inference. It doesn't say anywhere how Joy feels, but there are clues. Okay. So let's look at that. So it says the emergency room doors crack open. So we can infer that we're at a hospital. And it says, I feel my heart split. The hospital smell leaves me dizzy, or maybe it's just my fear. What if I got here too late? What if my friend's eyes never open? And then she goes on to say what else she's worried about, those other what ifs. All right, so let's see what you got. I'm asking you to answer this in two parts. So we can say Joy feels. Just fill in the blank with one word. How does she feel? And then my favorite word, because. I love because it forces you to explain yourself. Because, why? How do you know she feels whatever type of way? All right, let's move on. Names. Joylyn was my mother's idea. She says she swelled with joy the moment she knew I lay curled up inside her. While she waited for my arrival, she dreamed in pink, imagined frilly dresses, and sweet tea parties. Sorry, Mom. Jockette is what Caden calls me. He's so lame. If he were my brother, I'd strangle him. Just kidding. So, what's the big deal anyway? So, I'm not a girly girl. So what? Is there some law? I don't think so. Tomboy. What does that even mean? And where did it come from? And if there's a tomboy, how come there's no Jane girl? I'm just saying. Basics. I go to my closet, grab a t-shirt and jeans. Which pair will I wear? Long jeans, crop jeans, just so they are baggy jeans. Dad keeps asking Mom, where's the girl you promised me? Like he doesn't love our games of one-on-one. Please. All right, let's go ahead and answer that second question. How does Joy describe her personality? So it's not just in one poem that she is describing herself, but keep in mind that her mother is imagining frilly dresses and tea parties, and she's like, sorry, Mom. So is she giving her mom the pretty pink dresses and tea parties? She also discusses the word tomboy, or the two words. So how does that maybe describe her? And then her father, quite the comedian, he asks Mom, where is the girl you promised me? And then she goes on to say that she loves, or I'm sorry, that he loves the games of one-on-one, like a one-on-one basketball. So, putting all that together, how does Joy describe herself? Here's your sentence starter if you need it. She describes herself as blank. All right, let's go ahead and continue. Sitting pretty. Mom bugs me about sitting with my legs wide open, but I don't get what she's so worried about. I'm covered up in blue jeans. It's not like anyone can see anything. I've told her this a million times. For some reason, she just keeps shaking her head. Signature. My friend Keely teases me for always being dressed head to toe in navy. I just roll my eyes and tell her it's my signature color. She's just jealous she doesn't have one. All right, these questions are coming rapid fire, aren't they? So we have question number 3. What is a source of conflict between Joy and her parents? So why do Joy and her parents kind of differ or disagree? What's kind of the issue here? So keep in mind also the part where dad is like, "Where's the girl you promised me?" And then the mom is bugging her about sitting with her legs wide open, and she wants her to sit like with her legs together. So, like, what does this all tell you about the conflict between the parents and Joy? If you'd like a sentence starter, you can go ahead and use a source of conflict is blank. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and finish up the read aloud and answer the last question. This poem is Preacher's Kid, and it comes in 4 stanzas. The stanzas are even numbered 1, 2, 3, and then 4 with Roman numerals if you're not familiar. Preacher's Kid. Keely would swallow the rainbow if she could. She loves every single color. God made each one, says Keely. He doesn't pick favorites, so why should I? Keely's a preacher's kid, so she's got a different way of looking at things. She chose me when we were 9. At school, a bunch of girls were making fun of me for dressing like a boy. I tried to act like I didn't care, but Keely caught me balling my fists and shoving them inside my pockets. She pushed through the group and came straight to my side. "You're just jealous," she told those girls, "'cause the boys don't want to play with you." Then she slipped her arm through mine and said, "Let's get out of here." Keely dresses frilly, but she's tougher than me. One day, a girl called her Goody Two Shoes, and Keely said, "Well, you got the shoe part right," and walked away. "You think being a tomboy is hard? Try being a PK," says Keely. "Everyone expects me to be perfect, like that's even possible." Keely may not be an angel, but she's practically perfect to me. All right, let's answer this final question. How do Joy and Keely become friends? You'll find some clues to this right here. So, a bunch of girls were making fun of her at school for dressing like a boy. And she says, "I tried to act like I didn't care, but Keely caught me balling my fists." And then she shoved her way to the group and said, "You're just jealous because the boys don't want to play with you." So, how does this cause them to be friends? A sentence starter could be, they become friends because blank. Okay, that was actually kind of fun. So I'm glad we're reading Planet Middle School. Isn't life funny like that? You know, we have a plan, the plan doesn't work out, and then we come up with something else and it turns out to be great. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it as much as I did, and I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care.